Mr. David Stickler with DuPont Crop Protection. I think he works predominantly in our weed and brush areas. One thing, and I know we're getting CEUs this morning, so I have to throw in my CEUs here. We're going to talk just a minute about weed ID. Get a lot of questions. Why do people always do weed ID at range and pasture meetings or at any kind of meetings? Road meetings, I mean, y'all are probably going to have some today if you already haven't. Knowing what you have in the field is very important because not all herbicides control everything. I have a couple of them here. It'd be kind of hard to hold this mic. If you'd hand those off to me one by one. Just to go over kind of what we have in this area and what we're looking at in this plot. Million sunflowers, bluebells, really pretty flower here. Okay, this little spindly one here, this is called the heath aster. There's quite a bit of this growing in this area. Now this is the hard one in this area to kill. It doesn't matter what you're using, whether you're using Cimarron Max, I sell Cimarron Max, or you're using Grazon Next. This one's called antelope horn milkweed. And I encourage you, if you have it in your pastures, spray it early. And don't use like marsh elder here. Broomweed, annual broomweed. I learned something interesting about annual broomweed a couple weeks ago. I had a field day with Dr. Baron Rector. He's a state weed ID specialist with A&M out of College Station. He said annual broomweed, the leaves on it excrete a toxin that prevents grass from growing. I always knew that where you had broomweed, you didn't have a lot of grass. Number one, it was because of competition. But I didn't realize it had a toxin in it, that it was actually a herbicidal toxin on grass. So if you have annual broomweed, that's another good reason to get rid of it. Once it gets to this size, it is a lot harder to control. But probably controlling now is going to be better than not doing anything to it. So if you have annual broomweed out there, make sure and get it controlled. Had a gentleman earlier ask me, this is called snow on the prairie. It is in the milkweed family. Again, looking at herbicides that have activity on it, snow on the prairie does come up a little bit later in the season, so if you do a spring application, you need to make sure and use something that has a lot of residual to it.